How's it going, everyone? It's Sam with
Conor Kenny.
Link down in the description. We're hanging out here in Santorini. Very cold this time of year, actually. Very windy, but very nice. So yeah, excited to hang out, do some content with Conor. And today we're talking about the top 5 cryptos that we would buy with $1,000. Now, we definitely have some different picks. Some of us are more risk averse, some of us are definitely more risk on, but we're gonna go through them and let us know what cryptos we're missing down in the comments section after you've watched this video. And I think you're really gonna like this one. Let us know too if there's any other specific videos that you want us to be making while we're together. Now, let's get into it. If you take like stocks, and stocks are this risk level, and then you put Bitcoin, maybe it's this risk level. The rest of crypto is way up here, like way up, way further up in terms of risk. And I think Ethereum's a little bit less risky. But first of all, I'm gonna put Bitcoin as my largest holding, and I would put 50% towards Bitcoin. I'm actually weighted much heavier into Bitcoin than even 50% of my portfolio, and this has changed over time. But I am closer to 80 to 85% Bitcoin, just because I think it is a lot less risky. And while it won't have the upside potential of maybe some of the top 10 cryptos, like even like Polygon or Solana, that kind of stuff, it's just so much less risky, and it's hard to know what's going to be in the top 10 5 years from now. So Bitcoin would be my number one. I think a lot of people are going to invest in it over the coming years. I think it's going to be thought of as less of a risky asset and more of a commodity. And I think large investors that have $5 billion to put into the cryptocurrency market, they're not going to pick a 79th largest crypto on the list and put $5 billion in it, because it would explode the price. So they can go and take a large chunk of capital and buy this. And it's really, I think, the safest crypto, not just in terms of price and being around, but it is the most secure. It's the most decentralized. It has been around the longest. It actually allows you to hold your own wealth unlike any other asset. And there's no one that's gonna go and inflate it more or change, something structurally about the crypto. So that's why it's my number one. Conor, what's your number one?
Again, to be boring, sorry guys, I would have my main holdings as Bitcoin, but I'm gonna say a little caveat here that if you are having a smaller portfolio that you want much larger upside on, having something that is probably the least amount of risk in this space, which is Bitcoin, may not be at the top of your list. Now, I will refer back to what I said at the start of the video as expecting the portfolio in worst case to go to absolute zero. In that case, if you're fine with that happening, I probably wouldn't put Bitcoin there at the top. I'd put something like maybe even XRP, considering what's happening right now. Not because I'm a person who believes that XRP is going to $10,000. I don't believe that it's going to be the biggest thing in the world since, the creation of money or anything like that, but simply right now, as we're making this video, the fact that we have the SEC case, and if they are successful in that case, Ripple, if they're successful, I think the price action will be incredible, right? Yeah. I don't know exactly what will happen, but that gives us the perfect opportunity to take money out of it. So if we got a 2x or a 3x very quickly, I would be taking that money that I had, the initial $200, let's say, completely out of it and then reinvesting it back into the portfolio.
Yeah, you basically have to look at the probability of hitting different price targets. And while there's a greater chance that XRP or some smaller crypto could hit zero, there's also a much higher chance that it'll probably go 10x. But you have to weigh that for yourself too, because I'd much rather have a 50% probability of a 5x than a 40% or let's say 10% probability of a 15x. Like, I'd rather take the easy money because I'm putting a large amount of my capital in Bitcoin. If it was a smaller portfolio, I'd probably be a little bit more risky myself too.
I think we do have a different in way we invest though, right? Because you're more heavily weighted in, not really percentage wise, but in like monetary value in the safer options. Yeah. Whereas I'm a little bit more degen. So.
Definitely. Yeah. So let's go to the second one then. What would you pick for your second largest if you picked Bitcoin or XRP for the first?
Let's say personally, I would pick Bitcoin. Okay. But if we are simply building a portfolio of 5 coins that I think short term and long term are going to show potential, I'll do XRP for that one. For number one. Number two, I'm going to put Ethereum.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Ethereum in my own personal portfolio is the second largest holding, but I also do think that the upside of Ethereum is going to be a lot more than Bitcoin if we continue on the user adoption kind of thing that we're seeing right now, the expansion of the ecosystem. I do think it's going to have a lot of upside.
Yeah, Ethereum would be my number 2 as well. And I think there's been a huge shift that's happened over the last 6 months when they switched over to actually becoming deflationary after their last major upgrade. And the cool thing about that is people are actually incentivized to hold Ethereum instead of constantly selling. So you don't have miners that have to go sell their Ethereum to pay for the electricity to mine more. Now we have it so that you can actually stake your Ethereum, and Shanghai upgrades coming here soon, so people will be able to unstake. And I think that actually rewards people. Instead of constantly selling, you constantly reinvest, and then that has upwards price pressure, obviously, because less people are selling. And while Shanghai upgrade's coming up soon and people will be able to unlock their Ethereum, I actually think that's really bullish. A lot of people are thinking there's going to be a lot of people selling because we had so many people hold from $200 and now Ethereum's at $1,800, so they're going to take profits. I think that will happen, but also there'll be so many more people that are willing to stake if they know that they're going to be able to get their ETH out in 30 days. Like, I don't stake right now because I want liquidity and I don't want to lock up my Ethereum forever. But yeah, I'm really interested in that, and I'm looking to buy more then too. So I think I'd probably put $200 of the remaining 500 into Ethereum specifically, maybe 250, something in there, because I want to have enough too, so that I can make some staking rewards too when that allows me to.
All right, nice. Yeah. So let's move on to pick number 3.
Okay, so here I would get riskier. I only hold 4 cryptos myself right now that are any kind of substantial position in my portfolio. Number 3, I'd go a little bit further down the risk curve to Phantom. So Phantom is a layer 1 blockchain. You can go look it up. It's top 50, like I said.
So we had to change the scenery a little bit more while my girlfriend has a shower because the sound was absolutely horrible. But we did pick number 3 for you, right?
Yes, so Phantom, main reasons, their main developer came back recently. They have a treasure chest, a ton of money. I think it's 400 million or so in terms of capital that they have stored in the bank and in crypto and in stable coins, and they're cash flow positive. So I think that they're pretty cheap in terms of TVL and activity on their chain compared to the market cap. So that would be my 3rd pick. What about you, Conor?
Okay, so for my 3rd pick, as we are on my portfolio here being a little bit more risky, we have a really recent coin that has gone live that I actually made a bunch of free money with, and that's Arbitrum. There was an Arbitrum airdrop, and I actually made over $6,000 for free with that. Now, if you were someone who got the opportunity to get that, it's awesome. But I did actually slowly buy a little bit more when we had a dip recently, because right now the Arbitrum market cap is sitting at, I think it's 1.7 billion. And if you compare that to something like Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain, or I think it's Tron, those are all the top 4 in TVL. Now, Arbitrum is closely following them, and I think there is some insane gains that could happen, because something like Binance Smart Chain even has, I think, a $50 billion market cap right now.
Yeah.
And there is nowhere near as much activity on the Arbitrum ecosystem right now, but this is something, because our portfolio is small, that I'm creating here, it's something that I want to see potential upside, and I would hold this portfolio for years. This isn't something that I would only consider holding for the next few days, because both me and Sam have a similar mindset when it comes to investing, and that is very much not investing for very short-term gains. Like, of course, we do our short-term trading, but the gains that we're looking for here are life-changing, and life-changing gains take a long time to happen.
Yeah, and I think what you just said kind of shows the difference in what we look for in a crypto, because I personally am not looking at Arbitrum right now, because I don't think that's overvalued right now. But when you look at the market cap versus the fully diluted market cap, you can see, and this is something that you should be doing if you're looking up new cryptos, always look at the vesting schedules or the rewards and total market cap, because there are going to be a lot of tokens that hit the market. And we see this with some of the most popular cryptocurrencies that have come out recently, like Aptos, Optimism. These have a lot of tokens hitting the market, and you can just see VCs and early investors, marketers getting paid millions of dollars monthly, and they're just selling those. Yeah. So I'm always a little bit cautious. That's part of the reason I like Bitcoin and Ethereum so much, is because they don't inflate a lot. And even Phantom, I think, is going to dilute maybe 5 or 6%, something like that. So it's much less than these other cryptos. But what would be your fourth pick?
So my fourth cryptocurrency that I would pick today would be, I'm afraid, Bitcoin, because it's not so far in my portfolio, and every portfolio has to have a bit of Bitcoin.
So I buy Bitcoin as the fourth pick.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though it's my number one pick in my portfolio right now.
Okay. Any other reasons from what we talked about earlier?
Just because I honestly believe that Bitcoin's going to make it. It's the one that I have the most conviction in. With a large amount of money, I'm putting personally a large amount of money into Bitcoin because I have the most conviction in it. And yeah, I think it's going to stand the test of time and basically become a when you put
world's reserve currency?
No, I don't think it's going to become a world reserve currency, but a store of value. I think that we're going to have a lot of volatility. But people are going to consider it like gold or something like that in the future, like digital gold. So
okay, for my fourth pick, I'm going to move over here because it's easier to hold with my right hand. I'm going to do a cop out. I'm going to give you a real one for the fifth option, but I'm going to say cash. I would keep at least $100 in cash. Just because you don't know when there's going to be volatility in the market, you don't know when there's going to be FUD. You also don't know when there's going to be some big opportunity, right? Some new crypto that comes to the market, or you can get in on a pre-sale depending on where you're at or something like that. So I would keep some cash, and honestly, part of it is just for your own mental well-being. It's so much easier investing in crypto when you know you could buy a little bit more in case it goes down. I think that's something that a lot of people mess up with. They just put all their money, especially if it's not just like you have $50 from work each week or bi-weekly, but you have maybe some money, some money from your birthday or something like that, or you had been saving up for a while, and then you just take this large chunk of money. So cash would be my fourth pick.
All right, so we're back here in the studio. The girlfriend is out of the shower, causing trouble always when we're trying to film, and we're on to our last pick. Was it my turn or your turn?
Your turn.
All right, so for my last pick, it's going to be a cryptocurrency that I've been looking at a lot recently. I've spoken about it on my channel before, and this is Moonwell. Now, this is a DeFi project, and without going into it too much, basically, they have investments from Coinbase Ventures, and they are sitting at way lower at a market valuation than even Coinbase invested into it in its seed round. And if you guys didn't know already, Coinbase planned to launch their own layer 2 called Base. And this Moonwell is one of the projects that is going to be building on Base. And right now they're on Moon River, which is very small and very unknown and not used by many people. So this is, again, extremely, extremely risky. But for this portfolio, I want to make a lot of money, right? That's my plan for this portfolio. And if they do pull off building on the layer 2 Base, they have huge connections to Coinbase. So I think that this could be really good. I think there could be partnerships there. I think there could be good marketing there. At very, very best, one day, potentially listing on Coinbase, which, I would put that at a 1% chance to happen. But if it happened and I had a couple of $100 in there, it could be absolutely life-changing. So I want to put that risky play in there. Okay. And I also, in my main portfolio, hold quite a lot of it right now because of the connection to Coinbase. It's something that I would kick myself if I didn't have a little bit of an allocation there.
Yeah, makes sense. For my fifth pick, I would pick one of two different things. If you want to go a little bit more risk averse, I might pick up Polygon Matic. Mm-hmm. I have that in my portfolio. It's one of the 4 cryptos that I hold. And I think it's just really scalable. It's going to be used more and more as Ethereum gets more adopted. But I would also, if you want to go a little bit riskier, hold out for gaming coin. We've seen in the last week Sony and Amazon both kind of make a jump into NFTs and gaming, both of them saying that they are going to invest in building that out for their own brands. And Sony is one of the biggest gaming producers in the world in terms of consoles. And Amazon obviously has a giant marketplace. So I think both those will do well. And there's going to be some opportunity in gaming. I just haven't picked out a specific crypto to buy yet. I'm kind of waiting out on those, and obviously I'm a lot heavier into Bitcoin,
Yeah.
so I'm going to leave that option open later down the road. So those are our top 5 cryptocurrencies to buy with $1,000. We are just two guys sitting in a room talking about crypto. So do your own research. We're not telling you to buy any specific cryptos. This is just what we would do.
Peace.
Peace.